What if I told you that one of the world's biggest countries just achieved one of the fastest clean energy transformations on the planet? A country once known for its deep reliance on hydropower and oil is now quietly showing the world how fast a renewable revolution can happen. And it's doing it without fanfare, without billion-dollar campaigns, and without waiting for perfect conditions. In the last few years, this nation has turned sunlight and wind into the backbone of its electricity system. It's a story about speed, about scale, and about what happens when millions of ordinary people start generating their own power. Because this isn't a story about a government megaproject or a futuristic technology. It's about rooftops, farms, small businesses, communities turning energy from a distant utility into something local, visible, and empowering. In 2018, this country had barely any solar power, less than 2% of its electricity. By 2020, wind and solar together made up under 10%. But then, something extraordinary happened. In just 5 years, wind and solar skyrocketed to about 25% of the entire national electricity supply. Distributed solar, that's small-scale solar owned by homes, schools, and companies, surged from just 1 gigawatt in 2018 to around 40 gigawatts today. That's a 40-fold increase in 7 years. To put it simply, millions of rooftops became tiny power stations, and all of that happened in a country that already runs mostly on renewable energy. Hydropower still provides roughly 65% of its electricity, creating a grid that's now about 90% low carbon. In a world desperate for climate progress, this is what leadership looks like, even if it doesn't always make the headlines. So which country pulled this off? It's Brazil, the world's 10th largest economy, home to more than 220 million people. A vast, diverse country that stretches from high-tech megacities to the Amazon rainforest. For decades, Brazil relied on rivers and dams to keep the lights on. But that dependence came with risks. Droughts could reduce hydro output, and importing fossil fuels filled the gaps. Then, around the late 2010s, something shifted. Solar panel prices plummeted, wind turbines spread across the coast, and Brazil introduced a simple but powerful policy. If you produce more electricity than you use, you can feed the surplus back into the grid. Suddenly, it made financial sense for families and businesses to invest in clean energy. The U.S. Energy Information Administration now reports that since 2019, nearly half of all new electricity capacity in Brazil has come from distributed solar alone. And data from Ember shows that solar jumped from under 2% in 2018 to around 12% in 2025, while wind power kept expanding along the northeastern coast. The result is stunning. A national electricity system that's cleaner, more decentralized, and more resilient than ever before. While many countries debate how to make renewables mainstream, Brazil has quietly done it, through millions of small, local choices that add up to a huge global impact. This transformation is also perfectly timed. Next year, Brazil will host COP30, the United Nations Climate Conference, in the Amazon gateway city of Belém. It's a symbolic moment. The country that holds the world's largest tropical forest is also proving that clean energy at scale is possible, practical, and profitable. Of course, Brazil still faces challenges, from deforestation to inequality to political divides. But this renewable surge shows something bigger. It shows that progress isn't only about perfection, it's about momentum. And when momentum builds, it can spread faster than anyone expects. So if you're feeling climate anxiety, remember this. In just a few short years, one of the world's largest economies has cut its dependence on fossil fuels, empowered its citizens to generate power, and built a cleaner grid for over 200 million people. That's not a future dream. That's happening right now. If you found this story encouraging, please consider subscribing. The more subscribers this channel gets, the more we can reach and encourage those suffering from climate anxiety.